Quite big global corporation, right, Lindex. So she will show us what Lindex does and how actually they are trying to accelerate their sustainability. So, Sara, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
We are really curious.
Yes. Hi, everybody. It's really nice to be here. Maybe Lindex is not very well known to you, so I will just briefly describe Lindex as a company. We are based in Sweden, so we are a Swedish fashion retailer, and we are one of Europe's leading fashion chains. We have approximately 480 stores, and we are present in 17 countries, but we also sell our fashion online in EU and also in Norway. So that is what we do, and we sell women's clothes, children's clothes, lingerie and cosmetics. So I will talk about a little bit how we work with sustainability, because it's really core in our business. We have built we are a value-driven company, and one of our key and core values are act sustainably. And that applies to everybody. It's not that we have a big sustainability department. We are some people working globally on sustainability issues, but then everybody in the company needs to have sustainability in their minds when they do the operations every day or do the business. So everything from design and purchasing departments to logistics to the store concept department and into the people working in the store, and so on, and IT and so on and so on. So just let's start with this. I think all of you know that fashion comes with a lot of challenges. We know for sure that there are a lot of sustainability challenges to make great garments. And if you want them to be sustainable, then it's even more challenges. But we are a company that acknowledge this. We know about the challenges, and we have decided that we want to do a difference. We want to do something else than regular fashion. So we have this sustainability ambition. We want to make a difference. We want to make the fashion industry a better fashion industry. We want to sell sustainable fashion. And we have decided to go beyond business as usual, and we want to drive change. And we will do it by collaborating with our suppliers and partners, but also we need to involve the society, working with scientists, with NGOs, but also engaging with you as consumers, because everybody needs to be on board in order to really make the big transition and make a more sustainable fashion industry to happen. And I will just give you a small film here presenting Lindex overall sustainability work, and then we will talk more about the fashion part, because that is the most fun part. So we will start with the film. Jana, if you can help me. Then you get a picture of how we think and work.
Each piece of in Asia are supporting schools in Bangladesh that educate underprivileged children. In our collaboration with WaterAid, which extends access to safe drinking water and improving hygiene and sanitation in the poorest communities. As designers, suppliers, manufacturers, and consumers, together we can make a sustainable difference in the fashion industry.
Yes, that was like an overview, a little bit about how we think and what we do in our company. So as you can see, you had the glimpse of the CEO and some of the workers in our office and management. And you also saw a picture from our production in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is our main market at the time. I think approximately 40% of everything we produce is made in Bangladesh. And that is a country of great challenges, but it's also a country that develops quite fast. And when it comes to sustainability, we are going on a journey there with our partner suppliers. So, some years ago, I have been working with sustainability for more than 10, 15 years. And when we started, we worked with a lot of factories. And now we have consolidated. If there were more than 600 factories in the beginning, spread mainly in Asia, now we have 250. So in order to really make sustainability in a better way and more controlled, and together with our factories and suppliers, we need to work more in partnerships. And also this way of consolidating and have viewers make it easier also to, more rapidly accelerate change into more sustainable fashion. Because they also need to invest a lot in new techniques, new machines, the way they dye and finish and color their garments. So that is also that we need to make more commitment to also stick to them. We cannot just, so that is a very important role. So here you can see that today we don't say where does our responsibility end and how we work. It doesn't end anywhere. We have to work with sustainability in the whole supply chain, in the whole fashion chain, from the initial design, what kind of material we use and the decisions we take there. And also, back in the cotton fields, what kind of raw material do we use? How do we get this kind of raw material in a sustainable but also secure way, so it's not fake, because there is a lot of fake out there. You can buy certificates, and you really need to have control, so you cannot just trust papers. And then we work with every stage in this chain. The fabric mill, the garment production, transportation. How we think about our stores. How can we engage with the customer and make awareness so the customer can reduce their environmental impact while they're using or wearing the clothes through the clothes lifetime. And what will happen in the end when you are tired of the garment, maybe it's not really torn or it's not really waste, you are just fed up, then it should go back to hopefully be reused by you in some way or somebody else, or it should in the end be recycled. And that is also something that we are working on. So we have, not so long time anymore, but when we started it was like 2020, at least 80% of our garments should be more sustainable, meaning that it will be made of more sustainable fibers. It will be made by more sustainable processes, and it will be made at suppliers and factories that are thinking more of sustainability when it comes to people and environment. And we have scorecard to really make sure it happens. So that is the long-term goal. We work not with collections. Maybe other brands work with sustainable collection. Here is like a collection, or some pieces here and some pieces there. When we do something, we always start with a pilot project in a small scale and really try to find a good way to make it happen. For sure, quality securing every step. But when we have found a good way, then we scale it up. And then it becomes the regular assortment. So it doesn't go away, even if we don't talk about it all the time. If we have decided that all basic material should be sustainable cotton or organic cotton, then it is, even if it doesn't really say on the advertisement all the time. So I think that is something that I am really proud of, that we don't do campaigns. We do campaigns, but that maybe when we launch things, or launch new things. So how far have we come today? You can ask. It's some years to 2020, but we are moving there. So today we are really proud to say that more than 50% of everything we sell at Lindex is sustainably in some way. Mostly it's the fiber. I mean, it's organic cotton, it's recycled material, something like that. But we also work on the processes, I mean, how you dye and make the fabric. So we go back in the supply chain to make it step by step. And we are not a big company. I don't think you really know Lindex so well here, but actually we are the 8th largest organic cotton buyer in the world, because we have really decided that we should be a sustainable company. We buy, all the basics, that we t-shirts, socks, underwear, and that kind of thing, that is made in cotton. It's made from organic cotton. So 90% of all cotton we use is sustainable. Mostly it's organic, but also we have a small part that is better cotton. Maybe you have heard of that, but that is not very much. And why is it not 100? Yeah, because when we buy, when we make fashion, sometimes there is like polyester mixed with cotton, and then it's very difficult to find fabric, or because you need to treat the organic cotton in a certain way from the farms and all the way to the production. So sometimes it's impossible to get that small share of cotton also sustainable. We are working on it, but that is why we are not 100 there yet. But for the newborn assortment, that is for the smallest baby. That is 100% sustainable materials. And also we are going to talk more about the denim work we are doing. There is also the fibers are 100% sustainable, but then we are also working more on the processes. Yeah, because it's not only about the fibers, it's also about, the fabric, how it's made to be these nice garments. So sometimes when you see labeling, you see this is sustainable. Maybe some other brands just have the fiber that is sustainable. It's organic or recycled or something. But you need really to work with the processes as well, because here you use a lot of water, you use a lot of chemicals, and you use a lot of energy, and that creates a lot of waste and harmful pollutions and also CO2 emissions. So if you just work with the fibers, that is not enough. You have to do more. And I will show you a film now related to the work we do with all the kinds of denim garments that we have. You will see this first, and I will just explain a little bit more later.
So, what is denim? Denim is better than fabrics. Ladies are some of less energy and more outdated materials and sustainable sources. My mom says that every planet has skill over a reason. Modern denim jeans save up to 41% of water consumption. So kids like you have access to clean. Better denim is a better way to cover that. It's important for all our futures because pollution stinks.
Yes, better denim now and forever. And here you saw a lot of the people working at Lindex, the buyer designers and the product developers, and you also saw the people in Asia producing it. So they are real people working every day to make this happen, and I think it's really nice to see their faces because then it feels more real. And you can see here it's called Better Denim Now and Forever, because like I said before, it's now and forever. It's not only this campaign that we launched. It was February something 2016 when we scaled it up. Then before that we have done these pilot projects, but then we said let's do it for all the denim we have, and then we launched that, and then we made this film. But it's still there. We do it every day now also. So every denim you see in the Lindex store is made in this kind of way. And we are improving. When you do denim, there is like the fibers, and then make it into fabric, like weaving. And then you have to color, you have to wash, you have to do a lot of treatment. So you have to get into each and every stage of the manufacturing process. And we work with every stage, step by step. We are not 100% there yet, so we will continue because it's a journey, and we are not perfect, but we are moving step by step. And even if we have taken care of like the washing, we have looked into, how to wash the garments to make it with less water. We are not like checking the box there and saying, now we have done that. We are going to back and look, how can we do the washes even better in the future with the new techniques and new, so there will be a constant improvement all the time. So you can be sure that we are not like ticking any boxes. We are working in loops all the time, looking over the same process over and over again. And I think this fall, in 2017, we will launch something really amazing. I cannot tell you yet, but it's in this area. So if we have saved a lot of water now, it will be even better. So just stay tuned. Yeah, here you can see, the first round here we saved a lot of water and a lot of energy, and also we reduces the use of chemicals, of course, because it's linked together. And if you think that we are doing it constantly, that becomes volumes, I think. And if we can inspire others in the fashion industry to do the same, because it's not like only for us. We are totally open. We do it with suppliers that other brands can work with also. So we try to inspire other fashion brands as well, because if we do it all together, then it can be really, really changed. And that is what we aim for. Yes, but it's good with the fibers and the processes, and you have to also constantly see, we don't tick any boxes. We think, how can we improve constantly? And that is also looking into how can we use material and raw material in a better way. And maybe today we say this is more sustainable, but tomorrow there will be even better options. So we will constantly improve, try to improve. And we have started to collect garments in some of our stores. We have not started here yet, but in some of our stores in Sweden and Norway and Finland, and also we have 2 stores in London, you can hand in your old garments or any textile. It doesn't have to be Lindex. It can be an old sock from another company or a sheet or whatever. Then we try to make it into new garments or new kind of products, and we do it in collaboration with organizations and companies that have the technique and can do that. So in Sweden we work with I think it's like from the beginning it was like a second-hand charity organization called Urbanová in Sweden, but then now they are developing to be more like a company. So they try to close the loop together with us and improve that work. So the first item we made together were these shoes, made from this textile foam that the consumer had it in our stores, to produce sustainable sneakers from natural rubber. It was fair trade, everything was fair trade, and also the denim fabric was actually the fabric that we have collected. So they cut out new pieces from that fabric, so you don't have to redo all the processes. That is saving a lot of energy and material and chemicals and water and everything. So that is a better option. And now, this, you can see this, very stylish, is also like an upcycled product. Because since the 80s, the fiber production have tripled. And if it will increase, it says, if it will continue, it says that 200 million tons of textile fibers will be produced in 1 year, year 2030. That is not sustainable. We need to find a way to, how can we use the already all the material resources that we are already using over and over again. And that is about how can we explore possibilities to make each garment live longer and be worn longer before it's thrown away. So we are exploring that area more and more, and we are doing it together now with the textile schools of fashion in Sweden and a lot of other industry collaborations. And we are also making it locally. I talked to somebody here before. Now today we have main production in Asia, in Bangladesh. But we are also looking into how can, this is made in Sweden, in this kind of new circular way. And how can we upcycle more products to prolong their lives and give them new kind of styles and sell them, give them a second life or third life. And how can we think like that from the start, from the designer phase? How many circles can we do before they go to be recycled to be something totally different, maybe end up in the car industry or whatever? So we launched this yesterday, and we have also, this is a unique, like a collection, because it's like a trial, a pilot thing. And it's 6 pieces, some jeans and this, and then a bag that we sell mainly online, but also in 2 stores in Sweden. But totally unique pieces, and they will sell quite quick. We think we have got great response, and that is also something that we are trying to explore more. So hopefully you will see even more of this in the future. So I think, thank you. For ever about sustainability, this was just like one of hundreds of thousands things we can talk about.
Yeah, we will.
But we don't have that.
I would maybe invite you to take this seat here. The projector?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can, of course. No, it's okay. Just switch off the projector because it's a little bit too much. But I can switch a light here if you want. Okay. So.
Yes, of course. If you have any questions, you're so polite.
Yes.
Can you not say anything?
Now, I would like to invite actually Kamila. Kamila, I think that please come here in the front, and Eva Urbanova from NILA. We will have a little panel actually. So please come here. And as I understand it correctly, Sara,
yes.
Actually, to speed up, to accelerate sustainability, it's collaboration, and it's also getting it into volume, right?
Yes.
As you said before. Yeah. So now I would like to give floor to our to Eva and then to Kamila, actually to elaborate a little bit on that. Each of them will have like 3 to 5 minutes to say their view of accelerating the sustainability. As you know, Eva is actually entrepreneur in fashion and in decor, right? In the Czech Republic. And Kamila, probably all we know Kamila is an organizer and an activist, I would say.
Because I'm active.
Of course, yeah.
Active. Active mother.
Proactive and initiatives on her side always. So please, Emma, start your view on all of this, accelerating sustainability.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. Very nice to meet you. Just to give a little bit of background of what we do, we are a local multi-brand store. We sell about 50 mainly small brands ranging from fashion to decor, back to fashion accessories, and we represent fashion brands that have sustainability in their core, that basically purely sustainable. In my view, the way to accelerate sustainability is mainly through awareness raising and education. That's what this event is all about. I think it's key that customers have the right information to make informed decisions, because I'm not a big fan of any sort of regulation. I think fashion will always operate and should operate on a free market, but in order to free market to work well, the customers should know what they are buying. They should be able to make a decision. They should be able to read a label correctly. They should be able to distinguish between efforts that are truly proactive in terms of sustainability, that are pure and well-meant, versus perhaps more of a greenwashing, things like that. So that's very important to have the information and to understand it. Secondly, perhaps more importantly, however, I think in order for more garments to become sustainable, as opposed to creating more garments in total, if you know what I mean, like today we have 100% garments, so in order for there to be more proportion in sustainable, we need to offer an alternative. obviously, you know, what Lindex is doing is wonderful, and it is an alternative to the range that they are offering. But also there must be a stylish and comparable alternative to fast fashion as such. Because in my view, the only way to sort of turn the wheels back and really regain and work towards better environment and better working conditions is to consume more. I think everyone, most people should have much less in their wardrobe. They should aim for more quality. And with more quality or higher quality, usually hand in hand, may go even higher style. So think hard before you buy something, buy less, and then take care of it. That's my worldview.
Kamila, what is your take?
But I consider myself being like a real junior in sustainable fashion. Like, it doesn't make me look like in this country, but I'm still like discovering every day new things. And when I started orienting in this field, it was for me all about education. So I started like teaching. This is the first thing that I know I can do, is like to raise this awareness. So this is what I've done. And then for me the next step was like to increase the accessibility actually of sustainable fashion. I think that many people like they would like when you check the research, people will say like, yeah, I want to buy sustainable, I want to buy organic and all that. Then you are running home from work and it's not accessible, it's not on the way. If you want to buy it online, you have to really search and look it up and so on. So we put together a Sustainable Fashion Day. I call it vegetarian restaurant. Like, if you don't eat meat and you go to vegetarian restaurant, you know you're going to buy something that there's no meat included. So if you come to Sustainable Fashion Day, whatever you touch here had some aspect of sustainability in it. So for me, I'm still, I think for me, it's about this awareness. So from my personal point of view, what I'm trying to do first is to raise an awareness, bring the information, and the second part is to bring the solution, which is to show the brands, to give them access to the market, to put together an event like this, and even have Lindex here talking about, even if you go home from work and you hit Lindex store, there is something that's better than what you would find somewhere else. So yeah, it's about raising awareness and showing opportunities or how to do it better. I think it's totally about decreasing the consumption, and I think that a lot of people who buy fashion today or even anything today, right, it's about phones, it's about everything, they will be like, no, don't tell me that I have to stop shopping. Like, that's not what I want to hear. Yeah. But like, my pitch is that it will make you really happy, actually. It will make you much happier if you stop shopping excessively, because you will have more cash for a beautiful vacation, you will have better materials on you, because if you buy one piece that's really quality and maybe higher price, of course, but the quality is there, the style is there, it's going to last longer, and you will have much more time for walking in the forest. And this is where the true happiness is coming from, sort of like walking in a shopping mall, thinking like, I cannot afford this, I want to go for holiday, that's a great price, I'm going to put my money here, instead of saving it up for going to Cambodia, you know. So I think that in the long run, you know, like, if you all come to the workshop of Kamila Boudová, who's going to explain to you the effective wardrobe, how to build it, you're going to save cash. I'm an example, right? And then I even mentioned her workshop though, but like then you have the cash for the organic food, and you have the cash for the vacation that you want to go for. Woofing, of course, right? Like working on an organic farm for vacation, that's my dream. But you know, like, in the end, this is what's gonna really make you happy, instead of the impulsive shopping for like, that's a great price, it's not my size, it's not my color, but it's a great price. So this is the awareness I'm trying to bring now with all that.
We want to work on an organic farm, then please check with.
Can I move with you?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
I'm a little bit afraid of moving, but if I go with you, maybe I.
Yeah, let's move together. I have to take my man with me. He's not into it so much yet. I'm trying to push him to compost. So next will be the moving.
So if I understand correctly, so it's like a lifestyle our buying habits, how we spend money, but also it's on the side of producers, of companies like Lindex, right? If they can scale up the volume and make it more accessible, as I understand.
Because I think they're doing a great job, and I really think there should be a lot of great, inspiring designers, new designers thinking of it. I think we all have a share, to play. Because we can get inspired from you, but we also need to, in order to change the fashion industry, to do it in a big scale, make all the big fashion brands do it also. It's not only about the small designers doing it. And we also have the muscles to make it happen, I think, in the production countries, because together we are quite big. I sit together with, many of the Swedish fashion brands, and we discuss how can we accelerate it, the big change, and H&M are there. They are quite big, so if we decide to do things together, we can really make it happen, and then it happens for real. So I think we have a part to play, but also it's super exciting that more and more new designers really think of this.
Yeah. So now I would like to open the floor for you for discussion, questions, comments, whatever is on your mind. So please don't be shy and raise your hand and ask a question, and we will try to answer it, right?
Yeah.
So the floor is yours, ladies and gentlemen. Questions?
Does Lindex ever consider to have paper bags instead of the regular plastic bags?
Yes, we are looking into it right now. But we know, we have discussed it with plastic bag issue for as long as there have been plastic bags. I think we need to have more, at the moment, all the facts that we have, the plastic bag, the bag that we offer today is made of post-consumer recycled plastic. It's also made of oyster shells, so it's a part that is an organic component, and we have made it as sustainable as possible today. Now I just read in some magazine that there is one company making paper bags in a closed loop system or with a better process. And also, so it's maybe an option, but until now it has not been, if you look at the LCA totally impact.
Yeah.
So, but we also working with the other fashion brands in Sweden, really looking into make a third-party LCA study on the bag issue in order to choose the most sustainable option. So now I think we are 3 big fashion brands in Sweden having almost a similar plastic bag, and the supplier claiming to be the most sustainable. So you don't really know, but we think we have chosen wisely, because more and more fashion brands or other brands are changing over to the same quality that we use today.
And here we come a little bit deeper in the problem that actually you need to have so-called life cycle assessment. Yes. You have to assess the life of the product to say actually if it is sustainable or not. And of course there is a big part of consumer manipulation with the product, right? If you take a paper bag more times, if you take even the plastic bag more times, it extends its life, its actually value extends.
And also where the pulp, when you make paper, you have to take it from trees and make pulp and everything. What kind of trees is it made from? Where were they grown? Is it like sustainable forestry? That is a lot of parameters that we have to take into consideration in order to choose. So maybe one plastic bag from maybe one process can be a very good option, but a similar plastic bag coming from other sources is totally not that good at all. So you really have to know a lot.
Then there is this trust. If you trust probably the brand, if you trust their philosophy and you see the culture. Okay, let's have another question. If it was an answer, was it?
But we are looking at it.
Good.
I'm just curious about the situation in Bangladesh. You mentioned that it's changing very rapidly. Could you talk more about what's happening and if it's improving the conditions?
Do you mean the political situation?
I mean more the conditions in the factories, because...
I think, to be really honest, I have been in Bangladesh in a lot of factories, and it's a country of a lot of challenges, and you can find everything there. The worst you can imagine, even worse, is there. And there is some factories that are quite okay. I cannot say they are super fantastic or really, really good, but I think at least the suppliers that we have chosen to stick with and work with and to develop, they have a decent way of working conditions in place, and they also want to improve, and we do a lot of projects for factory workers that is touching their lives, not only in the factories, like improving their health, educating them, I mean, how to get their finances in a better order. I mean, so a lot of other things we are doing as well. If you do that, I think you can work in Bangladesh, but you have to help, not only buy from them, and also you need to choose suppliers and factories that are willing to really set a quite high standard compared to the rest of the country. But if you go to Bangladesh, I think all of you will sit and cry for a week at least, and you will be really devastated, because it's a country of big challenges, and it's not perfect, and it will not be perfect in I don't know how many years, but we need to work on it. So
what is your power actually? Because does the factory produce just for you? Because there are more brands, right?
We are a small brand in the big world. I mean, maybe we are not like in Sweden, so we are. But then, I mean, we are not even half of the production in the factory. So we have to collaborate, and we also, the suppliers and factories, they need to have their own awareness and be willing to do this, and that is also why we have consolidated. We worked with so many more factories before, and some of them said that yes, this is important, we want to do this, but then when we came back and visited, nothing really happened. It was very small steps, and maybe they just did it for the day, you know, and that we didn't really find the trust there. But now we work more like in partnerships. And of course, if we go there, sometimes there can be some problem, of course. But then, I mean, at least the mindset and the willingness, and we can see the development phase. And now we are also scoring it more like a business way of steering it happening. So I think we are quite confident that we have suppliers that are willing to work on this with us. We cannot say it's super perfect, but at least we do the best you can do.
Okay.
And we are. I can also say that I mean, a lot of companies do audits, factory inspections with third-party audit company, and that is better than nothing. They have a code of conduct and everything like that. But we are educating the factory workers. I mean, you have to empower the workers to know about the responsibilities and rights, so they can, I mean, have the dialogue with the factory managers and owners, and also like from unions and that kind of things. I think that is also a key component, that you are not only putting requirements on the factories as such, but you also work with the employees in the factories.
Thank you. Other questions? Comments? You have one. Good.
There's another question.
Okay, I'm sorry.
One comment for me as a customer.
Louder, please.
For me as a customer, it is difficult to choose the right organic cotton t-shirt, because there is a lot of differences between the quality. Because it happened to me all the time, because I buy organic, and then it's it really doesn't look good after a few washes.
Yes.
And then I have to buy another, so it's not sustainable for me.
No. Yeah, because then you need to be. It's about the fiber length and the quality of the cotton. I mean, organic only say that it's grown without pesticides and harmful chemicals and that kind of thing. But the cotton quality still can be quite lousy. So I mean, you need to. It's not so easy to feel it in the fabric, but you can say if it doesn't look really super nice on the hanger, don't buy it at all, because then they have done a lot of treatment, so then it will look rubbish after 2 or 3 washes. And then, I mean, you can ask about that in the store maybe. What does the cotton come from, or the cotton length or the quality? And if it's, I will go back with that t-shirt and say, this is not quality, I will hand it back to the stores.
Okay, so you said be demanding.
Yes,
okay.
be demanding, for God's sake.
Yes. Okay.
Can I just ask, in your stores,
yes,
the employees, they have this information? Because if I come to the store and I ask
no,
about...
not the fiber length, no.
Because even if I'm asking like, I need a pencil something in the store, I just do it to tease them. I'm not going to buy it. But they're like, what's pencil? You know?
Yes,
and if I get this answer from a shop assistant, I'm like, I'm definitely not buying anything.
No, I think that is one of our biggest challenges, to really educate, or how can we reach out to every single person working in our stores, because it requires, it's not so easy for them to understand it. Even if they've got all this information, maybe they are afraid to tell you, because if you have some question, they don't know, they don't want you to say something to them that they can answer. So we have a challenge, and right at the moment we are creating like a toolbox with more information or things that they can use that we will launch this autumn to help them to be more educated and to help them to, be more service-minded towards the customers in this field. But it's, I think some people think sustainability is difficult and scary. So
scary?
No, but it's like difficult questions, and they don't know, so they don't want to talk about it even if they have the information.
Okay, so it's a little bit annoying, right, to talk about sustainability because it's somehow unpleasant. Maybe if it's a professor asking and he starts to ask, is it organic cotton, and you say yes, and then he starts to ask about chemicals and everything, and then you go, I don't want that, so I don't say anything. Right.
It's more like that, maybe. So it's,
Okay. Other questions, please?
I do have one. You mentioned that you are trying to inspire like all other brands, for example in Sweden, to make the business more sustainable and to cooperate with.
Yeah.
Is there any other brand we might know that you already cooperate with?
I think we cooperate with most, the biggest Swedish brands. We are sitting in different kinds of forums. I cannot say that we cooperate with everything, but we discuss these kind of issues together. Then it's up to each corporate or company to choose themselves. We cannot say to other companies, you have to do this or you have to do that. But we try to work transparent, and they do that too. So when we launch this better denim and the technique and everything, if they ask where did you did it, how did you do it, we tell them, so they can apply the same, of course. And also I think we get a lot of that kind of inspiration and information from them. If they have done something that we are looking for and we cannot find it, or we can ask how far have you come with finding new fibers that is not the regular one, that is not cotton or polyester or tencel. Have you looked into fibers made from food or that kind of bio? Then we have this kind of discussion to learn from each other and really accelerate it. And I think we in some way inspire each other. At least we together push the agenda, because if we launch something, they feel a little bit we have to do that too. And I think the same way, if they launch something super exciting, we think that we should also do that. So I think even if we don't talk about all the details all the time, when we sit in a lot of forums, at the moment I talk with H&M and Kappahl when it comes to these plastic bag issues. So we sit together a lot to solve common problems that is equal for the whole fashion industry.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will slowly wrap up, but I would like to say to people who came to workshop from 11 that we will start a little bit later, because we started with this actual presentation a little bit later. So please be patient. We will discuss, we will talk like 5 minutes more, and then we will start a new block. But now I would like to say, or ask Ella what she thinks about it, because she's like actually not talking much, and maybe she has something, going on in your head, you'd like to know.
No, not really. To me, you have to understand we come from a little bit of a different viewpoint. To me, the Lindex group is a fast fashion company, and as such, in my mind, it's very difficult for you to ever become really sustainable, because the actual business model of fast fashion is based on very high consumption. So I don't know if you know the number, but I think it would give a perspective here if you could say what percentage of this current collection, spring-summer, is fully sustainable, for example, 100% organic.
I cannot say of each collection, but I can say over 50% of everything we sell is sustainable.
In the whole group?
If you look if you go into our store, everything you see, half of it at least is sustainable. And we are aiming to at least 80, and then we will aim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are going more in a deeper and deeper when we go. Actually, we say is the consumption problem or is the quality of the material problem? Because probably you all know that cotton is pretty difficult, right, to grow. It consumes a lot of water, right? But if it's organic, so then it's better, much better. But still,
it's not super sustainable.
It's not super sustainable. So are you also thinking in your R&D about working with other kinds of...
Yes, actually we have signed up for at least 5-year project in Sweden. It's Mistra. I don't know if you are familiar with that, but it's like driving science and development together with Lund University and also other big players. Looking into how can we make new kinds of material out of bio-based waste, more or less. And that could be new polyester, new bio-based polyester, similar kind of, or new kinds of material that we can use both for fabrics, new kinds of material for fashion, but also for packaging, for the bags and for other things. So that is something, but it will take maybe, I don't know, now we will start the first year and build from molecule level kinds of materials. And then also we are looking into how can we take carbon dioxide from the air, like the bad thing, make it into polyester or plastic material, plastic fabric, plastic oil, coal-based fabric. That is really super.
Yeah. So you are working on solutions with scientists.
Yes, we're working on solutions that can be maybe 10-15 years from now. Scaling up that kind of solutions. We don't know yet if it's possible because you need to think of this in a life cycle perspective. I mean, not only about the material, it's also about the process. Needs to be environmental to do that. So a lot of things to solve. But we are working here and now with the best option there is. And then we're working also parallel with what will happen, what we will launch in 10-15 years. So it's like,
Okay, I would like to call last question now to conclude. So who has a question or comment, please welcome. Everything is clear? Wow. Probably, we'll consider it as a comment.
Yes.
Okay, so here. Please louder.
How would you evaluate the progress in going more sustainable for the Swedish brands around us? When you said that you discuss together and try to help each other, so what do you say about the speed of the changes?
So its question is how you evaluate speed of changes in Sweden, right? Going to be more sustainable.
I think it's the speed. I think the speed is increasing, and also, I mean, some years back, mainly talk about the fibers, sustainable fibers, about the organic cotton or tencel or recycled material. Now we're working, I mean, with the processes and further back in the systems, and also in the, I mean, what will happen in 10-15 years, and then. Actually, I have some colleagues that are going on events that other brands are arranging, talking about sustainability, acceleration and transformation. When they have brought in like scientists, they have brought in like this Ellen MacArthur person working on closing the loop, new business models, overconsumption. We talk about everything. But
But is there maybe a state regulation which says, okay, you have to be, I would say, carbon neutral, for instance, in 2030, or lower your carbon emissions, or something like that?
No, I think it's brand driven. It comes from within. Maybe it's something Swedish, I don't know. But from our companies, I think it comes from within. And from the people that really are the designers, the production people, and nobody will work in a company that doesn't really take this seriously, I think. And not at least at Lindex.
Okay.
So you would consider that the other companies you work with are taking it seriously?
No, I cannot talk. I can only talk about Lindex because I know what we do and how we think and that it's working in all the departments. But so I cannot say anything. But the only thing I can say that we have this kind of dialogue with other brands.
Okay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you, Sara,
Yes, thank you.
for coming here. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kamila. Thank you, Ella, for taking part in this panel. Thank you very much. And we are going to take a short break, maybe 3 minutes. And